today?
I think so. My name is Karim Kanji. I am here with our first guest of 2013. But before I introduce him, I want to welcome all of you back to our program and to our show. And this year we look forward to bringing you a lot of great conversations with people in the digital and social media space. Please welcome my good friend Jaime Stein. How are you?
Hey man, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We were talking before that we've known each other for about 3 years, which is about 21 years in social media.
Yeah, it's about 7 years per year in social life.
That's right. For those who don't know, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read a quick bio. Jaime Stein currently leads the social media strategy for ING Direct here in Canada. Prior to that, he completed 4 seasons working as the Canadian Football League's head of digital and social media, where he redefined the content strategy for CFL.ca and also launched the CFL's involvement in social media, establishing its fan-friendly approach that has created unique engagement opportunities for the league and its fans. You're also a member, Jaime, of the Canadian Blood Services Campaign for All Canadians, fundraising cabinet that is dedicated to building Canada's new National Public Cord Blood Bank. You're doing some. You're with Ryerson University on the Alumni Association board. You have a Bachelor of Arts from McGill, Journalism from Ryerson. What else do you have here?
No wonder it feels like 7 years.
It does. You've done so much. And valedictorian.
Oh, you had to bring that
back in 2011. You're a keener there. But thanks for joining us, Jaime.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. I guess let's start from the beginning. You and I met when you were working with the CFL.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like the coolest job that you could have, in sports, social media, all about content. That was pretty cool. But you introduced social to the Canadian Football League. Let me take a step back from there. What were you doing prior to bringing social onto the league?
I was just running the digital media, so I was hired to run the editorial content for the website.
Okay. So social media comes about. You're taking a look at Facebook and Twitter, and you're seeing opportunity there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
What did you see in social media that you said, you know what, I need to get the CFL on board?
So for me, we kind of went backwards because most people went Facebook first, then Twitter.
Sure.
So in 2008, near the end of the year, I went to a talk. Rahaf Harfouche was speaking at Rotman about her work on the Obama campaign. I went home that night, signed up for Twitter. A few other friends in the industry to encourage me, you got to be on Twitter. Checked it out over the holidays, came back and said, wait a sec. Like, people are talking, they're watching TV, they're talking. This was the early years. And I thought, sports, like, this is a no-brainer to match Twitter and sports. Brought it back, said, we need to be on Twitter. Got the usual, those of you around in 09 probably remember being called a twit. People laughed at you, and they said, sure, do whatever you want, go run this Twitter account. So I said, okay.
Get little Jaime out of her hair.
Yeah, exactly. So I did, set it up, and the rest is history. Like, fans started flocking to it. At the beginning, we weren't using hashtags, so fans were like, you should use, hashtag CFL. And we thought, okay, that's a good idea. So they sort of helped and guided us along. There were some early adopters that helped us along our way, and we figured it out. I won't be the first to say, we knew everything when we went in. The community helped shape what we did, right down to the first tweet up. We had people email us a week before Grey Cup and said, a month before Grey Cup, well, are you guys having a tweet up? And I remember looking up online, what's a tweet up?
What's the definition of a tweet up?
I think Scott Monty is credited with creating the word. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Google it. That's what I did. And then next thing you know, we're having a tweet up, which is now sort of, the highlight of Grey Cup weekend for a lot of fans.
It is. And so, you go back to the commissioner. Was it 2010, I'm guessing? 2009, 2010?
This was 09. This is the 09 season.
You go back to the commissioner and you show him, we got all these people engaging with us. We did a tweet up at the Grey Cup. What response do you get back? Do you get back, fantastic, let's push forward with this? What other platforms can we be involved in? Or do you get pushback and saying, well, what does this actually mean? Are we selling more jerseys? Are we selling more tickets?
So the interesting thing about the timing was that at the time the commissioner's strategy, and he challenged all the employees in the office. He said, look, our goal this year is to put the fans at the center of everything that we do. And so, we were doing social media and we were getting this direction from the commissioner. We thought, wait a sec, that's exactly what we're doing on Twitter, is putting the fans at the center. And he came and, saw what we were doing, and then he said, I want in. He said, I want on Twitter. And we said, no problem. He said, let you talk directly to the fans. And so we did. We put the commissioner on Twitter. He started tweeting the fans, providing, pictures behind the scenes insight.
Yeah.
And that first Grey Cup where we were on Twitter, when people were just using TwitPic, photo sharing was kind of new, and it was a big deal to see behind the scenes photos.
Yeah.
We gave the password to our Twitter account to maybe 15 employees. We couldn't compete with the big networks on production value and such, but we could compete on access.
And this was in what year?
2009.
2009
Grey Cup. And we said, we'll compete on access.
Yeah.
So our guy that was setting up the stadium pregame, working with the music acts pregame, he was behind the scenes taking pictures of the lines being painted on the field. The commissioner was with VIPs, tweeting out pictures. So all the staff that were behind the scenes were sharing these photos for us. And this is pre-Hootsuite and all these secure accounts. Like literally anyone was sort of.
Here's a Twitter account. Give it out to as many people as you can.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't advise doing that today. I'd be a little more secure. But then it was the Wild West. We just said, post pictures. People, were sending stuff out. I think there was one, Kevin, if he's watching, is the head of football operations for the CFL. I think there was a Rider fan in a bikini in the cold, and anyway, this was like this picture got like thousands of views, and all the staff started competing to see who could get the most views on their pictures.
Wow.
So it was good.
Fantastic. And so, you start off with Twitter, and it seems to be a big success. A lot of people are sharing it. The fans are engaged, and we'll talk more about ROI, but I guess that's what's the return, and you get direction from the commissioners saying, focus on fan engagement. Get the fan at the center. And so you've started to have all these fans taking a look at photos, sharing, engaging with you guys. So check mark to that. What's the next step? Did you guys start getting on other platforms? What platforms did you get on? And did the rules change? Is it we've got people engaged. Now we've got to we've really got to take a look at ROI. I'm very curious about that.
So we went to Facebook next.
Okay.
We weren't very good at Facebook.
All right.
And that's sort of where I learned that Facebook and Twitter are different.
Yeah.
The audiences are different. What people want is different. In terms of rules, like, for a lot of your viewers, I'm sure they remember the old days where if you complained to a brand, they gave you something for free. Oh, okay, we'll send this guy something, take care of him, go. You can't really do that anymore because now everyone's there.
Everyone's going to complain.
My favorite was a guy named Kent from Alberta wanted our fact book every year, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't coming to the chapters. He kept, tweeting us, where is it? But he's a good guy. He's promoting the league, and he couldn't get it. It was available online at our store, but there's a $14 shipping charge, and he didn't want to pay that.
Sure.
So I thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna mail him off a book. I said, I'm mailing you a book. I DM'd him, said, I'm mailing you a book. I trust you'll mail me a check back.
Yeah.
We'll eat the $9 it was going to cost us.
Sure.
Not only does the check come back,
Yeah.
but a $5 gift card to Tim Hortons. So in the end, he said, you guys are great. I keep it by my desk now because it reminds me of,
He sent you
like Tim Hortons gift card.
And Tim Hortons is Tim Hortons a sponsor? Tim Hortons is a sponsor.
They are sponsoring the league too. So
that's that's very interesting.
But it was cool. So the rules started to change. You couldn't do that with everybody, but you always tried to do what was right for people. So at the beginning, there wasn't a focus on ROI. It was a straight engagement play.
Yeah.
It was getting our fans more interested. It was funny because even when I left, it was hard to prove a true ROI in a monetary sense. Like we felt the emotional ROI, but people are going to go, well, what's emotional ROI? And I'm sure people are sitting watching their screen going, oh, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't measure it.
Sure.
But the one anecdotal story I have was after I left the CFL.
Yeah.
A guy named Greg who lived in Ottawa tweeted at me, and he'd been traveling to Montreal Alouette games, the 2-hour drive. He bought season tickets to the Alouettes. He said that the reason he bought season tickets was because of an article we put on our website and then tweeted out about a woman that drove 800 kilometers each way from Alberta to Saskatchewan Rough Rider games and back and had season tickets. And he said that because of that, he figured, well, I can do the 200K from Ottawa to Montreal.
Wow.
So there's your ROI.
Yeah. I
at least sold one pair of season tickets through social media, okay? But again, it's hard to measure.
How many of those stories are out there?
That's the question.
And perfect segue here, Jamie, because I remember when you left the CFL in 2012.
Yeah.
In 2012, and you joined ING Direct. And I remember you wrote a blog post. And what I remember about that blog post, which is on jamiestein.com, you wrote about that leaving the CFL, although it was a great opportunity here at ING, it was very heartfelt. And it wasn't heartfelt because you were going to miss the office space. But it was heartfelt because of the connections that you made online and then solidified in real life at these tweet-ups, at the Grey Cup and stuff, people that followed you and felt like when they actually met you that they've known you for the longest time. I'm very interested if you could expand on that and why that's important when we're talking about social media.
Yeah. So one of the arguments I've been putting forth lately is social media is great because it expands your reach. Imagine you're fishing and you have a little net and you can catch one or two off the dock.
Sure.
Now you're like a big tuna trawler out in the ocean, you can catch thousands of tuna. But the quality control is not the same if you're catching one or two fish. I don't want to start equating people to fish.
Sure.
But the point is that the online allows you to expand your reach, but they're weak ties.
Yeah.
They're not strong ties.
Sure.
They don't become strong ties until you close the loop or close the circle. And by that what I mean is meeting someone in person, shaking their hand, having some kind of offline engagement. So you see it when brands get into trouble mostly. And this is my argument. How do you know if you have weak or strong ties? If the example I like to use is Labatt. When Labatt had the issue with the beer bottle and Luca Magnotta, and they got destroyed on Twitter because they didn't have a strong community. My argument is that if it had been Molson, they have built tremendous offline ties. They're great online, but they're great offline too. You've got all their Molson reps, they're everywhere at every event. I don't think they would have had the same treatment. Can I prove it? No, but I don't think they would because they built the offline ties. So my argument is that if you really want to know if your ambassadors are behind you and they're there when you need them, you need the offline ties, and the crisis will show you whether you did that right or not, I think.
That's it. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Let's talk about 2012.
Yeah.
Not only did you make that switch, not only did you start talking about the importance of these offline ties, but what other things did you learn in 2012 about engagement, about followers, about influence?
So 2012, especially those of you in Toronto, remember the summer of the fake follower and all the drama. And so I think, a lot of people paid lip service to the fact that numbers don't matter, but secretly they still did to people. Brands, agencies, everyone wants numbers. They always say, oh, it's about engagement, and then it's like, how many followers do you have?
Yeah.
How many retweets do you get? So I think the social started to fall out of social. And people started getting this competitive game and numbers and followers, and brands were rewarding people just based on the number of followers they had instead of looking to see what they're about. So there were brands out there flying people around, giving them free stuff because they had a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
But were they authentic ambassadors of that brand? I'll leave that to you to decide.
Sure.
But my argument is, and I think what you're going to start to see is the dwindling of the professional influencer. A lot of people, I think, got on that early, and good for them.
Sure.
Good for them. You're an early adopter, you should be rewarded. You got out there, you made your name for yourself, you got a lot of free stuff, trips, money, great. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think what you're going to see now is brands looking for their hardcore, passionate fans again to represent them.
So what brands are busy, that they're focused on really, what it is that they're doing. At ING, it's about banking. At CFL, it's about football. And then you add this whole dynamic of social media and influencers and how do you engage with them, to build the core, really what your brand is all about. These tools that were available, whether they're Clout or Cred or Empire Avenue, or whatever the case may be, to help these brands identify, here are the people that are talking about your brand, or here are the people that are influential about sports or banking or whatever the case may be. These tools, theoretically are there to make life easier for these brands to understand who they need to connect with. You're arguing that that's probably not enough. You need to really understand and dive into who is an ambassador, not just of, in your case, banking, but an ambassador for ING Direct, or an ambassador about smart investing or smart saving. How is it that you guys have managed to, cross that chasm?
So first off, I think clout, credit, everything, they're measurements.
Yeah.
If that's where you end, I think it's problematic. If that's where you start,
sure,
great starting point. You need to start somewhere. It's measurements. You got to look at it holistically. But again, it goes back to the offline interaction and why you need to have it. I can bring in 100 people based on cloud scores or retweets or followers and put them in a room and we'll chat and we'll have a nice night. And then I will probably be able to zero in on the 10 or 15 that truly love our brand, that are truly passionate about our brand. And that's great, and then you continue to forge relationships with the people that are truly passionate about your brand. So what did we do at ING? We created the Orange Scarf program, which you can check out ingdirect.ca/orange scarf. And what we've done is we've tried to identify people who are on social media, who are actively representing our brand or the values in which we believe in. So savings, or helping people take control of their own financial life, helping promote financial literacy. So we're looking for those people. Some of them have 5 followers. Some of them are celebrities.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter to us. That's not what we're looking for. In fact, we've built a spreadsheet where we keep track of who these people are, and we keep track of sort of their interactions with us. How often are they interacting with us? Are they posting photos with their scarf? Are they writing blogs? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And then we can understand who's our real passionate people. If I get called up tomorrow, or our PR people come to me and say, hey, I need 2 or 3 clients to talk to a reporter. Well, I should know who I can send to talk to the reporter.
Yeah.
If you have a list of people and you don't know, then all you have is a list. You don't have ambassadors.
All you have is a cloud score. You don't have an ambassador.
You have a spreadsheet, which is a list.
Yeah. Interesting.
And there's a big difference. There's a big difference.
And so I'm curious, have you found value then in that? You've identified your ambassadors. Have you found value in having created that program? I'm wondering if you can talk on that.
So again, we're in the infancy of this program. It's only a few months old. Is this the only way to do it? Absolutely not. Where did we find value? When Scotiabank acquired ING Direct, it was a contentious topic, obviously, in social media. Our clients are very passionate about our brand.
Yeah.
They're very passionate about what we stand for, and people were worried. Well, we tried to reassure, as the social media team or the corporate people, don't worry, we're going to be the same orange bank that everybody loves.
Yeah.
But, people, take that with a grain of salt. It's coming from a corporate handle.
What else are they going to say?
Yeah, what else? Yeah. They're just,
go jump ship and go somewhere else. No.
They're saying what they're told to say.
Sure. Fair.
But who came to our defense? Most of the people that came to our defense on Twitter, Facebook, and other social channels were people who were Orange Scarf ambassadors.
Interesting.
So that's who started to defend us. Those are the people that came in, the calm voice of reason. So again, can you measure that? Is there a true measurement? No. But is there ROI? I'd argue yes.
Yeah.
So that's what we've seen so far.
And you bringing up ROI. At a bank, one would think ROI is huge.
Yes.
People investing money, they want a return. Yeah. And I'm sure the bank preaches the same thing. The money that we're going to spend in various initiatives, what is the return, right? I'm curious. At the CFL, you saw the emotional return on emotion. How does ING measure ROI when it comes to social media?
It's a good question, and I think it's one that we're still trying to figure out. It's one that we're trying to find different ways, and I think right now we don't have the answer. Okay. We're working with our data collection group to try and find ways to track, but the problem is that social data is not clean data. You know.
What do you mean by that?
By not clean data. So, you know, for example, we had someone on Facebook with an issue the other day.
Yeah.
You know, we sent him a note, and we like how he interacted with us. We're like, we want to send you an orange scarf. So then when he sent us a direct message, he goes, by the way, my real name is this.
Yeah.
So he'd been posting under John Smith, and it turned out his name was Mike Brown.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you start to try and collect data, and then people aren't using the real name, people, you know, it's screaming Twitter, you don't know who people are, so you don't have a complete picture. Where, you know, if you have a CRM tool and someone inputs their name, their phone number, their email address, their postal code, all of a sudden you know a lot about that guy.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of incomplete holes with social data. So, you know, we're working to try and find ways where we can piece it together, but this is where having good analytics people comes in, because they need to complete the puzzle. There's going to be lots of assumptions, so you need people that can make strong assumptions, and then people that can provide good actionable insights. So we're trying to use traditional data ways with new ways of interacting with people, and there's some clashing there, you know, and so it's not easy. It's, you know, trying to change people's perception as well, because, you know, I'll get a call and say, well, here's my spreadsheet, I need you know, your data need to fit in here, and I say, well, but we're missing this and this and that and this, and, you know, well, where is it? Well, person doesn't even indicate if they're male or female on Twitter. Like, I can't even tell you gender sometimes. So this is the challenge we have.
Interesting. And I guess related to that, and this is, you know, directly attributable to what ING is doing. You know, you start opening up cafes.
Yes.
Across the country. I don't know how many you have, half a dozen maybe?
We have 5 cafes.
5 cafes. You have the Network Orange space in downtown Toronto as well.
Yeah.
And people wonder, wait a second, I thought these guys were an online bank. What's up with these cafes? What's up with Network Orange?
Yeah.
You know, and you recently spent time in the Vancouver Cafe, and you've spent time in the Calgary Cafe as well. What's the relationship between what you guys are doing online, these cafes, and these, you know, co-working spaces?
So it's important to understand the history of where the cafe came.
Okay.
So we are a direct bank. We started through the telephone.
Yeah.
Back in the 1990s, and what happened was people were, you know, a little nervous back then. Like, you know, what's this like? Phone in and give my money and do banking on the phone? That's weird, right?
Sure.
You know, we forget about that. We forget that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, you're right.
So people used to bring their check in to our head office up on Gordon Baker Road, and they were waiting in line. There'd be lines. So ING, you know, quirky new startup bank, started handing out coffee.
Yeah.
And then they thought, well, let's put a cafe so people can sit and chill and relax. And then that's how the cafe model started. It just got replicated across the country. The idea is it's a community space for people that want to come in, you know, want to chat, hang out, talk, and it's just a chance to know that there's a face there if you need it. It just gives you a little, you know, it's like a pat on the back, or a, hey, we're here if you want to come in.
It goes back to that weak ties online, and then strengthen those ties, you know, in real life.
Yes. And I think you would know, working on Network Orange, which is a co-working space in Toronto at our cafe, is, you know, it's a great community feel. You know, I was at the holiday party we had there in December.
That's right.
And you know, people from all sorts of startups and businesses are hugging each other, helping each other, hanging out with the employees from the bank, and you know, a lot of it's about community building. You know, and you know, I'm proud of our cafes, and I've learned a ton. You know, there's people that have taught me about sustainability, about different ways to help in the community I never knew existed. It's, you know, quite frankly, it's opened my world to a whole new side of Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary when I've been there, and you know, and they're sharing that with the clients as well, and I think it shows also culturally how we're different. From big financial institutions. Yeah,
I see people coming to the cafe and saying, is this a bank? Is there someone I can talk to? This is interesting. This is not the stuffy place I'm used to. You know, this, you know, you've got plants growing on the walls. You know, you've got people giving out coffee and people with cheery voices walking around, people relaxing in couches, big TV screens and everything. So it's a very interesting community engagement experiment, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the experiments worked, because if you take a look around now at some of the other institutions, I'm seeing a lot of similarities between our cafes and what you're finding in what were traditional bank branches.
Yeah, more coffee being drunk out there.
More comfortable seating, more decor. I'm not sure if anyone's taken the green wall idea yet, but
fair enough.
But we're happy to be leaders. So.
Fair enough. That's great. We're just starting 2013.
Yeah.
You talked about the summer of the fake followers that we just went through, and I remember looking at that. I go, do really big brands really care about this little argument that people are having about 10% of your followers are robots or whatever? Really, what I want to get to, looking forward over the next 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
What are from your perspective, working at a bank and also being, I think you're plugged into other people in Toronto, across Canada, working in similar positions that you are. That you're working in. I know that you talk to a number of people working in a similar space. What are brands and companies and people in digital and social, what are they talking about for the upcoming year? What are things that they're really, really interested in seeing, what will work or what will not work?
Yeah. There's two things I see, at least, and I'm sure there's hundreds of possible trends. One is the social business, which is sort of the turning point for internal social media. I think you're going to see, you're already seeing companies, the way they structure internally, creating their own internal Facebook, for lack of a better term, using Yammer or Chatter or NewsGator. So I think you're going to see that internal collaboration is going to grow, which I think will then lead to the rise of the employee as the brand ambassador. I think you're going to see more employee brand ambassadors. I know brands are scared to have more people talking on social media, but it's not going away, so you got to figure it out. And I was telling you before we started the show, I think one of the best employee brand ambassadors right now is Commander Hatfield. From working on NASA, the Canadian astronaut.
Fantastic.
He's dominating content. He's dominating engagement, and quite frankly, NASA has become cool again because of this guy, right? It's not the brand, but it's the individual that's boosting the brand. And again, people like people. It's relationships.
That's right.
And you feel he's human, even though he's in outer space, and he's created this great dialogue. So rise of internal social, which leads to employees as brand ambassadors, would be one thing.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look out for that. Jamie, thanks so much, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
For stopping by. I really appreciate it. We disagree a lot on social media, but in a lighthearted, we're not attacking each other. And we also have fun on social media, and I really appreciate the time that we do get to spend with each other and just chat and stuff. I'm sure a lot of people are really interested in things you've got to say and stuff. How can people connect with you? Where can people, follow you?
Yeah, so Karim mentioned my blog earlier, jamiestein.com. Jamie, Jaime, because it often gets spelled wrong. Twitter at Jaime Stein. Drop me a line, LinkedIn as well too. But if you have me on LinkedIn, make sure you explain why
you're connected.
You want to connect. Why you want to connect. That's a trend I'm hoping for in 2013, that people explain why.
Tell me why you want to connect. It saves you time. Who is this person? Understand. Awesome, Jamie. Thanks again for popping by. Thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Karim Kanji. You can follow me on Twitter at Karim Kanji. You can also follow our corporate Twitter handle, which is @WeAreThirdOcean. Have a great day. Bye-bye.